What's up, you guys? It's Victoria. So do you ever struggle with understanding fast English? If so, then you're in luck, because in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys the secret of how to understand fast English and how you can do this in just 48 hours. I should also mention that I'm not using the term secret lightly here. I really mean information that's not out there, that I've never ever come across, and that's going to have a massive, massive impact on your comprehension. So there are lots of other YouTube videos out there called Understanding Fast English, and I've watched several of them just to ensure that the information that I'm sharing with you guys is in fact original and unique and that my secret isn't out there somewhere. And I can tell you that it's not. So most of the videos about understanding fast English, what they do is that they break down a specific English conversation for you. They talk about reductions and contractions, and then at the end of the video, you can understand what was said, which is excellent. However, that's not going to help you understand fast English in your daily life outside of that very specific context. And the reason is that it's not addressing the root cause of why you're not understanding fast English in the first place. So in today's video, I'm going to tell you about that root cause, and then I'm going to tell you how you can make crazy power moves to make progress in this area if you implement exactly what I tell you to do. So what's the secret to understanding fast English that you've never heard before? Well, my friends, it's to improve your auditory processing skills, literally at the level of your brain, to strengthen those neuronal connections. And more specifically, we want to improve your auditory temporal processing skills. And temporal is simply a fancy word that means relating to time. Now, before I tell you guys exactly how you can do this, I want to get you a bit excited and tell you that of my clients that have really implemented this advice to a T, they have all undergone profound changes. Profound changes. So obviously, I can't guarantee your success in any way. I don't know you, but I can tell you anecdotally that this is really, really, really powerful stuff. Now, if right now you guys are wondering why I've been holding out on you for the past 2 years and why I haven't shared this amazing advice before, part of the reason is because of the YouTube platform itself. And maybe I'm wrong in thinking this way, but I tend to view YouTube more so as a platform for, entertainment and for quick wins. And I honestly haven't ever really believed that sharing information that requires a lot of work and implementation would really actually be followed through with by anyone. However, you guys are really such amazing subscribers and viewers. You're very engaging. You guys do all my tests and you're very enthusiastic. And so I thought, you know what? Even if 1% of my viewers follows through with this advice, that in and of itself would be a huge win for me and would be very, very, very exciting. So I am almost certain that most people won't have the time and dedication to fully follow through with this because, as you'll see, it's kind of asking a lot. But if any of you guys do this, that would be very, very cool. So on a related note, you guys know that I don't ask for likes and shares and thumbs up on every video that I do because frankly, it gets kind of old. But for this video in particular, I'm really asking you guys, if you found the information valuable, please give it a like, please share it on your social media or with a friend that you think may benefit because it helps my channel a lot, and more importantly, it'll help get the word out to many, many, many more people. All right, you guys, so without further ado, let me share with you exactly how you can improve your auditory processing skills and hence improve your ability to understand fast English. Now, I didn't know whether to call these tips or steps or what, so I decided to call them words of wisdom. All right, so here we go. So word of wisdom number 1 is to schedule in these 48 hours and to do so in a very specific way. All right, so I know 48 hours seems like a lot of hours, but really if you think about it, it's how long your weekend is, right? And weekends fly by like nothing. So what I want you guys to do is literally schedule these into your agenda, these 48 hours. But how you're going to do it is very, very important. So what I want you guys to do is schedule in 60 minutes every single day. However, the trick is that you can't schedule the 60 minutes just in one block, because that's not going to allow your brain to maximize its ability to learn and to remember. How you want to schedule the 60 minutes is in smaller chunks throughout the day. I've mentioned this in other videos. So ideally, let's say that I want you to have 4 sessions of 15 minutes scheduled in throughout the day. Obviously, it goes without saying they can't be back-to-back sessions, because then you might as well be doing one long session. So the reason that you have to schedule your time this way is that you want your brain to undergo real change, right? And our brain just doesn't undergo change willy-nilly if we put in, 20 minutes of practice twice a week. Nothing's going to happen at the level of your brain in that case. So 2 of the principles of neuroplasticity, which is basically your brain's ability to make new neuronal connections, are intensity and frequency. So your practice really needs to be intense and it needs to be frequent. Again, you need to break it up into many frequent sessions throughout the day. The breaks in between are going to allow your brain to consolidate that information, meaning to strengthen those neuronal connections. So to summarize word of wisdom number 1, I want you guys to schedule in 4 15-minute sessions every single day, no exceptions, for the next 48 days. So that means that in around 7 weeks, you'll have put in your 48 hours of practice. So what on earth are you supposed to do during these 4 15-minute sessions every single day? You want to listen slowly to something boring. What I mean by that is not something actually boring, but something that your brain is going to think is boring, meaning listen to something that you've already listened to many times before, or about a topic that you're really, really familiar with. But it is important that you pick something boring to your brain, because otherwise you're going to get your brain's limbic system all fired up and it's going to be much too interested about the action, and hence it's going to be unable to do word of wisdom number 3, which we're going to get to in just a second. So ideally, I do want you guys to choose something to listen to that does have some sort of relevance to your life, but that's not going to be terribly exciting. And what I want you to do is to listen to it at an obnoxiously slow rate. So I want you to listen to it at 50% of its original presentation speed. So you can really, really easily do this across many platforms. In YouTube, you can do this right in the YouTube settings. If it happens to not be in your YouTube settings, then there are different extensions that you can get to slow down the playback speed. In TED Talks, you can slow down the playback speed right in the platform. On podcasts and audiobooks, you can also go right into your settings, slow down the playback speed. So it's very, very simple logistically to accomplish this. So the research on auditory processing skills shows that listening at a reduced rate significantly improves a person's ability to understand fast speech. So it's going to sound weird and unnatural to listen in this way, especially if your brain's trying to parse out meaning. But that, my friends, is actually the whole trick. You don't want to be focused on meaning. That's what your brain's been doing up until now. What you want to do instead is about to be revealed in word of wisdom number 3. So word of wisdom number 3 is to deeply focus and pay attention as a curious observer, not to the meaning of the words that you're hearing, but to the actual acoustics of English. So what I mean is, what are the sounds of English really? What do the vowels sound like? What do the consonants sound like? How long are the sounds? Are they shorter or longer than in your native language? What are the pitch changes of English? And where is just the baseline pitch? Is it higher or lower than your native language? How about loudness? Is loudness used differently in English compared to your native language? So really immerse yourselves. Try to get fully into the zone as you become an expert in the acoustics of English. You guys have to know that this won't work if you're multitasking. Our brains literally cannot multitask. So don't multitask. One of my clients recently, he was doing this auditory training program that I had made and sent him, and he was so in the zone just listening that all of a sudden he realized that he was in the middle of an intersection and he hadn't looked to see for oncoming traffic. And thank goodness he was totally fine. And it was kind of like a scary wake-up call though, that you really can't do two things at once effectively, even if you think that the other thing, like walking down the street, is really simple and innocuous. So point being, that's how far in the zone I want you guys to be while you're doing this kind of an exercise. However, don't risk your life, right? So just sit in a comfy chair or lay on the couch while you're doing this training. But to get back to the point, I wanted to share with you guys now what's actually happening in your brain while you do this training. So doing this deep immersive listening activates a part of your brain that's called the reticular activating system. And this is a part of your brainstem that's really cool. And basically what it does is that it begins to create a filter for information that it deems important. And it's going to deem something important because you're telling it what's important through loads of amazing quality, slow input. So right now your brain may actually be using your native language's filter while listening to English. But again, by undergoing this kind of training, you're going to allow your reticular activating system to create a new filter, which is significantly going to allow you to process more quickly because the input and the filter are going to be a perfect match and not just a close match. Another neat thing about the reticular activating system is that it actually works at the level of your subconscious mind. So during these periods of deep listening, you're helping to create the filter, but then the work constantly keeps happening in the background as you go through your daily life because the filter is then working and allowing certain information to pass through and throwing other information away that it's not deeming as important. If you guys are interested in this concept of a filter for second language accent acquisition, then let me know in the comments below and I can work on putting out a video about that as well. I think it's really interesting stuff. All right, so back to our words of wisdom. So word of wisdom number 4 is that while you're doing this training, you have to limit background noise. So we just saw in the previous point that your reticular activating system is going to be working to create this accurate and lovely filter. However, if you're listening to English with a lot of background noise, then you're putting much more demand on your auditory processing skills in general because they have to take out all that noise because it's totally not helpful or necessary. So right now is not the time to be challenging your brain in this way. Right now, you just want it to create that good filter. So listen to really clean audio. Certain YouTube videos are going to be excellent, other ones are not. Again, you want something with really clean audio. So you don't want a YouTube video that was filmed outside or that has music playing in the background. If you're going to engage in a YouTube video for your listening, then make sure it's a YouTube video with very clean audio. Of course, audiobooks and podcasts tend to have very good acoustics and no background noise, so those are excellent choices as well. TVs and movies are not going to be your best choice for this exercise because they inherently have lots of background noise. So for the purposes of this building your fast English brain filter, don't listen to television or movies. You should also think of your own acoustic environment and limit any background noise as much as possible. So turn off needless electronics, and if you're out and about, then definitely wear noise-canceling headphones. And word of wisdom number 5 is to focus only on your target type of accent. So don't listen to lots of different varieties of English as you do this training. Generally speaking, having lots of varied input is actually very helpful globally for our comprehension, but right now you're not working on your comprehension, you're working specifically on your auditory temporal processing speed. So again, we're trying to build a very specific auditory filter in your brain, and so to do that, the filter needs to know what shape to be, so to speak. So I'm assuming that you guys are learning American English or North American English, given that that's what my channel is about. But even if that's not the case, then focus on your target type of English only while you're doing this training. All right, you guys, so now what you have to do is to implement, implement, and implement, okay? So just knowing this stuff as fun trivia is not gonna change anything in your life, but if you actually engage with this process and if you do this work, you are almost guaranteed, I can't guarantee you, right? But you're almost guaranteed to experience profound changes in your comprehension of fast English. Just anecdotally, I can tell you that I've never had a client that did this kind of training, but really did it every single day, no exceptions, that didn't experience profound changes. So of course, without knowing you, I can't say for sure, but I could have a pretty decent guess that the same will be true for you. Either way, you have nothing to lose to try it out. For the brave souls that are actually going to implement and do this work, I'd be very, very curious to know your results. So please, please, please share with me during the process or after the process, because it'd be very interesting for me to know. All right, you guys, so that is it for today's video. I hope you found this information helpful, but what I really hope is that you're going to take this information and implement it and experience massive changes. So best of luck to all you guys, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.